Hello, my honeys. This is Kamara. I am the Black Dove Oracle, and welcome to the Black Dove Oracle podcast. So, this is another audio only reading. This will probably be one of the last ones that I make before next week because, as you know, some of you might know, I'm in the middle of moving. So, I imagine by next week, I will be back on track and doing a variety of different kinds of readings here. So I appreciate your patience. Even many of you have wrote me and said you really like the audio only channeled messages. So I really appreciate you. If you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much for supporting my channel, all your kind comments. Even those of you have purchased a personal reading. I love it. I just finished doing one this morning. So I really appreciate just your trust in me for channeling messages from you and from spirit to you. So thank you so much. If you're brand new here, my name is Kamara. I'm a psychic medium. I channel spirit as well as my ancestors and the Divine Sibyls, who are the ancient oracles of previous times, all who sit at the feet of the one God, Goddess, Mother, or Spirit, or God, or Creator, however you want to call this energy that runs through us all and connects us all. So I really give thanks to you all for stopping through and taking a listen to these channeled messages with audio only. Sometimes you might want to multitask and do some other things. Maybe you're just riding on the bus or train and you just want to take a moment to listen to a channeled message. So welcome all. If you would like a personal reading, I have a brand new website, and that website is www.blackdoveoracle.com. You can go on this website and see the variety of different readings I have available. I also do spiritual life coaching, so I hope that you will take me up on my services. If you want to email me, say you have a business proposal or wish to collaborate, my email is blackdovedreamer@gmail.com. So, my honeys, lastly, if in any part of these readings, channeled messages resonate with you, would you please consider giving me a like or a comment, or even consider subscribing? This is your official invitation to do so. It helps me grow this brand new channel, and I appreciate your support once again. So let's get to these channeled messages. We have 4 groups, and these 4 groups, Spirit is saying, we're just going to go with what's coming up as usual. But know that these avatars, they could be switched around for your enjoyment. They're just here to represent the different groups. But some people like to pick with the timestamps, which will also be noted in the description box below. Okay, my honeys, let's go to group number 1. Hello, group number 1. How are you? This is Kamara, the Black Dove Oracle. And how do you raise the bar? I have a brand new oracle deck called Sacred Vision. It's so beautiful. It's a smaller deck, so it's only about 29 cards, but so beautiful, indigenous, Native American themed cards with beautiful artwork. So, group number 1, how do you raise the bar? Well, this one, it's your beauty. Really, group number 1. I think it's an internal beauty as well as an external beauty. I think people see your beauty first because many of you in group number 1 are quite aesthetically beautiful. But there's also this inner beauty when people get to know you, group number one, especially your friends feel this way. Like they really describe you as a beautiful person full of love. They feel as if you are constantly expressing your joy for the world, your joy and happiness. And there's even somebody, Spirit is showing me that you have a beautiful smile. Like it really arrests people. Like people, it really, even the most defensive person can relax around your smile. I think you are also what people would call a true friend, and you raise that bar because so many people have experienced friendships that, were a little bit toxic or just one sided. And when it comes to you, group number one, you raise the bar on friendship, relationship in general. I think people feel as if when you're around, they have that support they need, but it doesn't feel like it weighs on you. There's a way in which you're just able to give. And I think this giving is not so much in the material or even, I'm hearing from spirit, even energetic, like the way that you give, it's about being present. Maybe that is energy, but spirit is not saying that you allow people to feed off of your energy. It's more like you're present with people. You're able to be present in the moment, and then you can walk away and do other things. Like it's a very beautiful, spirit is saying, calling it a beautiful habit you have of not carrying around people's energy. Like you could be present with their energy, and when you're done or when you all kind of walk away from each other and do your own things, you're able to kind of throw that off and do your own things. I think people describe this quality of yours, group number one, as very beautiful because they feel in you they have a kindred spirit. They feel in you, group number one, that they finally have found their soul tribe. I really do feel like this is specifically your friends. They feel like they've found soul tribe with you. Maybe recently you've met some new people, group number one, and they're just so happy you're in their lives because they're like, wow, it was feeling like a desert out there. It was feeling really dry. And here comes group number one. And so, in many ways, you raise that bar like that, group number one. Like they're just like, whoa, I never thought I would reconnect or connect with another person again. And here's group number one. So, what other ways do you raise the bar? Mm, you raise the bar because I believe you are in group number one. You're very faithful. Um, it could mean that you're religious, but I think you're faithful. Like you believe in the highest perspective. You honor everything and everyone. So, I mean, as sweet as you treat your friends, you treat your family that way, you treat your pet companions that way. Um, for some of you in group number one, you raise the bar on even how you practice spirituality. I think when people are around you, group number one, or they witness you in ceremony or in ritual, they really see how authentic you are. You're not doing it just to become people's gurus, or you're not doing it because you want to become some famous teacher or facilitator or whatever. Like you truly are embodied with the art of facilitation, ceremony, ritual. So some of you might do something like that. Spirit's even showing me like you might be a yoga teacher, but you do kind of like health retreats or something. There's something that you facilitate, teach, guide people on, that people really feel like you raise the bar because of your authenticity, because of your embodiment. and they feel like they don't get just a version of you that facilitates, and then when they see you somewhere else you're kind of stuck up, or it's never like that. They feel like you're always consistently that same person, that you bring your full self into your work. You don't pretend to have, a high and mighty kind of knowledge. Group number one, you're very relatable. I'm hearing, and in many ways you raise that bar because you really speak with truth. You don't wear a mask. You're not a pretender. You really understand that life is happening for us and not to us. And I get with group number one that you raise the bar because people really see you living your truth. It's something quite beautiful. I think too that you raise the bar because you're a very harmonious person. You raise the bar in how you move and navigate in life, group number one. Some of you you play an instrument of some sort, maybe a flute. That's very specific. But some of you may have the favorite insect as a butterfly, like maybe you wear butterfly jewelry or have a butterfly tattoo. But someone specifically plays some kind of wind instrument. I don't know, spirit's also showing me a harp, so take it where it resonates, but it could be any kind of instrument. But the way that you play, people feel like it's very ethereal. You probably have people commenting, I can just listen to you all day because there's something very calming, very angelic about the way that you play group number one. And people just say, wow, I think you do it when you're teaching or facilitating, some of you. And people are like, wow, that just raised the bar on retreats or rituals. Like, there's something you bring that's very unique to your teachings, and people appreciate that. It doesn't seem like you just kind of are running the typical experience. Like, you're giving people a very beautiful experience. I think the way that you raise the bar too, as I really get this is my spiritual teacher pile, but you know, the way you raise the bar is that you really connect with the womb carriers. Regardless of your identity, you, group number one, work with people who have wombs. You may teach them how to care for their womb, how to honor their womb, how to receive sacred messages from their womb. If it's not the womb, it's the sacral, you know. But you are very focused on helping people to understand that this is a portal of wisdom just as much as our heart, just as much as our third eye or crown chakra. Like, I think you teach from that perspective of like really understanding the sacral, understanding the womb area. That could be very specific, but that's too how you raise the bar. Last few messages, group number one, on how you raise the bar. You know how to make money doing the things you love. I think you are a person that many people just want to use as an inspiration because you don't do things that don't make you happy. And the funny part is you make a living from those things. I mean, some of you out there in group number one have the most unique jobs. I mean, something that only a creative person could have thought of. Like, Oh, I do apothecary retreats where I teach people how to work with the essences and make flower essences. And then we meditate and do yoga. I mean, there's something about how you create experiences. This is what Spirit is showing me. You create these beautiful experiences that people can only experience from you. Like they're a unique creation of yours. And you just grow them, you water them, you add different things. And really, for some of you in group number 1, people have seen you raise the bar because you just exited a life of, like, maybe you were working in a corporation or just some really mundane, boring work that really often left you broke, you were struggling. And I think you saw, group number 1, that your struggle was happening because you just weren't happy. You were spending money just to be happy. And you were like, no, now you do what you love. There is just abundance around what you do in love. You raise the bar too because I think people saw that you had to just have that, again, going back to faith and confidence. Like, you had to cultivate that because you understood after some time, group number 1, you weren't going to be able to just fake the funk with a corporate regular job. Like, you couldn't fake the funk anymore. You had to do your calling. You had to drop into your purpose. And many people knew that was going to require a lot of, like, faith and confidence on your part. Something that I think people witnessed you being discouraged, maybe from family members, maybe even from a partner, maybe even from, people who were close to you at that time. They were saying how risky it was, and people saw you raise the bar on your own confidence, on your own faith. You're like, no, I wouldn't be shown this vision of me doing something different if it wasn't true. You raise the bar, lastly, group number 1, because you're able to create fundamental, foundational changes. You're able to just do that. You're able to change your world to serve you. And people witnessed that about you, but I think you witnessed that about yourself. You took a chance on yourself, you invested in yourself, and when you did that, group number 1, it was like a tower moment for people around you. They were like, wait, what? I knew you as this person. Like, you could have been, I mean, this is just an example, but let me know if it resonates. It's like you could have been like an accountant or something, and the next thing you know, you're like apothecary guru. Like, there's something there where you just was like, I'm not doing this anymore. Like, whatever this was about, it's not my life. And people were just astounded at how you raised the bar, literally, group number 1, on yourself. You took yourself to the next level. And that's something many people now who know you, and people who are new who meet you, will just, they'll always be surprised by this, but you raise the bar quite literally on yourself. So, group number 1, if you resonated with any or part of this message, could you please give me a thumbs up? It's a great way to help me grow this brand new channel. I have some new offerings that are coming up in the month of October, and I really hope that you will join me. If this is where we part, group number 1, wow, how inspiring are you? Thank you for raising the bar. Thank you for showing us that life can be exactly what we want it to be. Okay. All right, my honeys. Take care. Hello, group number 2. This is Kamara, the Black Dove Oracle, and welcome to your channel's message, How You Raise the Bar. Group number 2. Raising the bar, I'm beginning to understand just from group number 1. Sometimes it's just not even about other people. It might be about yourself as well. So group number 2, how do you raise the bar? You raise the bar, group number 2, on that healing. Yeah, I should have known when Spirit just said it might not always be about other people, it might be about yourself. Immediately, you got the weeping wound card. You are not your wounds. You have raised the bar on self-healing, group number 2. You've raised the bar and shown that going within, doing sometimes really difficult work on some past traumas, because many of you in group number 2, you had experienced some really deeply traumatic things, and I'm sorry for that, group number 2. And Spirit is showing me in your healing process, you've quite literally reached inside of yourself and did some kind of self-surgery. This is a very powerful image that Spirit is showing me, group number 2. That you really just went within and you started to suture up those wounds inside of you. You raised the bar too on this because Spirit is showing me a lot of the work that was very pivotal for you, you did on your own, group number 2. Please leave me a comment if that resonates. Like, I don't know if they have a medical symbol or some kind of like red cross. If you can leave that emoji for group number 2, it just lets me know what group you're in and what energy you're resonating with. But that red cross, I mean, literally, Spirit is showing me someone, in a lighter way, Spirit is showing me that old show, MacGyver. I don't know. I might be dating myself. I'm always dating myself on these channel messages. But Spirit is showing me MacGyver, and that was like this guy, if you've never watched that show, he could just do whatever, if the moment arises and he needed to do surgery on himself, he's like, "Oh yeah, I know how to do that." Like he would make these inventions and contraptions to save people out of a paper clip and a pencil, you know what I mean? But Spirit is showing me that there was some aspect of your healing process, group number 2, that you really just said, and you all, I'm a therapist by work, but I think for the group number 2, there was a point where you're just like, I don't need to see anyone. I just need to sit with myself and do this work. And I think you actually tapped into spirit guides in this group. Some of you work with a cat familiar, could be a tiger, a leopard, a panther. It could be your own cat familiar or spirit guide. You work with some kind of feline energy. And because I'm seeing that behind your avatar, group number 2, and Spirit was like, yeah, those eyes were sticking out to me. You were the only one in this group that came up for with the AI, which is very interesting too. Some of you may have heritage from South America. You may, I'm seeing like Peruvian, Guatemalan. That's very specific. The way that you raise the bar, you understand the doorways of time. You have a very unique way of working with time. This is a very spiritual group number 2. You're like shamans, shapeshifters, timeline. You work with timelines. Like you have an ability, if even Spirit is saying, even if you do not realize it, you are a timeline jumper. Like you can go from different timelines in existence, especially when you're in ceremony. You raise the bar because of the path that you follow, group number 2. The path that you follow, group number 2, is not an easy path. It's not a path that people can just fake. Like, you raise the bar because it's like you work with you. I'm even seeing this as ancestral, like the way that you work with your ancestors, how they place you on a path. Some of you are working with long time lineages of medicine people. Um, yeah, that's specific, but that's the energy I'm seeing. You also may work with, or you can see people's auras. Like you could see color around people or light around people. Some of you have gone through some very intense healing processes. Uh, like if you have done a lot of plant medicine, it's opened you up in a way that it just you went through a portal that you will never be able to return from. Like you absolutely came out that doorway as a shaman, as a spirit worker, as a medicine person. Many people who are around you, who are close with you, who have done work with you, they have experienced miracles with you. They've experienced some things that are unexplained with you, group number 2. I think this is going to be the energy of this group. So if you feel like this doesn't resonate with you, we have 3 other groups. But this group specifically is they're intense healers. Spirit is telling me that for this group, you did part of your initiation was to get some kind of illness. For some of you, it may have manifested itself physically, mentally, or otherwise. But when you went within and you showed that you could heal yourself, you were illuminated to the position of healer. Some of you raise the bar because of just how deeply you work with spirit on all levels. Some of you are a dancer, some of you play music, some of you are drummers. Some of you have like a clairaudient thing going on. Especially if you do things like you sing like Icaros, or yeah, there's things that like traditional songs and music, when you are singing that or playing that, you go to another place, like you go to your healing realm. This card is calling me too. Ooh, vision. Yeah, I think it, besides being clairaudient, some of you are very clairvoyant. You raise the bar. And this is weird because spirit is like, I know it's weird to talk about healers raising the bar, but I'm saying that there are people out there, they call themselves healers because they want to be healers. They want to be seen that way. There are other people who are healers because that is actually their calling. It's just their calling. And for you, group number 2, I think when we talk about raising the bar, I mean, it's such a weird expression to apply to healers, but you do, because you follow the path of spirit. I mean, there's just nothing, like I said, there's nothing or nowhere in your life where spirit isn't walking beside you. And so there's people who have, even if they're driving in a car with you, have the strangest experiences with you. There are people who swear that you've taught them how to talk to trees. There's people who swear that you will say something about a feather and a feather will fall from the sky. Like people have these miraculous experiences with you, group number 2, and they're like, whoa. I mean, there are healers where I'm just going to a retreat and doing some yoga moves and meditating. And then there's healers like group number 2 where I'm experiencing the world differently, step by step, day by day. Ooh. And this initiation, because spirit is bringing it back to that opening card of like, you had to go within yourself and do the suturing of your deepest wounds, your deepest traumas. You realize that no one could guide you on that particular part of your journey. And Spirit's not saying you didn't have some great teachers, some great mentors, read some great books, but this was something that awakened as a past life, how do I want to say, as a past life skill you had. It opened up in you, group number 2, and you were able to go within and make those vital changes to yourself. This is deep. How else did you raise the bar? You did a lot of this work without the fanfare, without the podcast and the YouTube testimonies. You did this in a way, it wasn't like you were trying to hide it, but you did it in a way that was not about becoming this famous person. That's so funny. The sun came out reverse and the moon came out right after that. Here's what I'm saying. Many people, because I'm about to say some people, I'm like, many people, group number 2, do not understand how you transform yourself. They don't understand it. They can't even begin to comprehend it. You went through a doorway. Quite literally, you went through a door one way and you came out another. The way you raise your bar, the bar is that there are so many of your friends, people from the past, who can't figure you out. You raise the bar on transformation, on living this life unlimited, like as your most unlimited self. It was like you raised the bar. People from the past, they're not quite sure what happened to the old you. Like, did you go behind that door and knock it over the head and came out a different? But there's something there where you raise the bar on just who you are now. Like, your capacity is so much greater. You're able to give without feeling overwhelmed. You are loving and kind. And it doesn't seem to exhaust you like it did previously. You're also very much a go-getter, group number 3. I said 3. 2, you're very much a go-getter. You now do not wait for life to happen. There's some people who are meant to be in a more receptive energy. That's not your energy, group number 2. You go after life. You've got this chariot here and you're like standing tall as you ride with these horses. Your decisions, they are linked with spirit, but in a way in which they're just like they're in the flow of spirit. Last few messages, group number 2. How did you change the bar? You're very detached from the material world. So many people can't figure that out. You're so detached from it because you'll do your work sometimes for free. You will do your work in community. You have a lot of confidence. You raise the bar on someone who fully embodies this healer energy. I'm not saying as a healer you shouldn't charge or anything like that, but there's something where people are not quite, they don't see how your life runs. It's almost as if it's so ran by spirit, group number 2, that it feels non-ordinary. You ask spirit about everything. Like, should I help this person to do this thing? Or should I take this trip here? Or should I go to this? Like, you ask and collaborate with spirit on every level. And people are amazed by this. And they see you in, lastly, Spirit is saying, they see you in the most rare places. Like somebody could be like, you know where I saw group number 2? I was like in the middle of the Amazon jungle. And they'll be like, and there was group number 2 hanging out with some indigenous tribe, just like chilling. And I'm all, like people's minds are blown with where you end up, where you go, who you're doing things with, and you're just very similar to group number 1, just living your life. Just living your life. But you know some very powerful people, and powerful people know you. And I think you raise the bar on just how people believe you can show up in the world powerfully. It's not just money. It's not just popularity. It's like you raise the bar because of your knowledge and your wisdom. And people are starting to see that that's actual currency. So group number 2. Wow. If you resonated with any or part of this message, could you please give it a thumbs up? It's just a really cool way to help me grow this brand new channel. And if you feel like subscribing, I would really love you as a subscriber. Just subscribe, click that bell. You get notified when I upload new channel messages. And my honeys in group number 2, if this is where we part, please put that red cross in the comments because, wow, it'd be really cool to know how many of you are out there, group number 2. Okay, take care. Hello, my honeys in group number 3. This is Kamara, the Black Dove Oracle, and welcome to your channeled message, How You Raise the Bar. Wow, group number 1 and 2. Actually, group number 3, you came up in group number 2's reading. So if you were a little caught on which one to go with there may be something in group number 2 for you, but not necessarily, only if you're feeling it. So group number 3, how do you raise the bar? You raise your bar on your ability to let joy lead your life, group number 3. You are very compassionate too. It's something about the way that you show mutual respect to people, group number 3. It's way above what most people have experienced from others. You're very much about being in your gratitude. You're very grateful for people, like when they do things, even the smallest things, like thank you for taking my order, or thank you for showing up today, or thank you for getting back to me, emailing me. Like people feel a sense of gratitude whenever they're around you. They feel as if you have evolved to someone who knows what it takes to really deeply align with others. I think you embrace too the idea that everything is important on this earth. You don't belittle people. You don't try to make them feel small or unimportant. And in many ways, you've raised the bar on just, I know this is going to sound out there, but on being human. On being human, you raise the bar on that. You give people hope, group number 3, that there are kind people out there. There are people who care out there. I think you had to learn this, group number 3, because there was some point in your life, maybe in the deep past, where you didn't know your value. You didn't really walk around having with a sense of like knowing your worth. So in many times you would give away things that were very precious to you. And sometimes it was material stuff. Sometimes it was just like your wisdom and your knowledge. You would just give it away without a sense of like, do these people really honor what I'm bringing to the table? And I think there's something about you that just changed. You understood that there is a cost for just spreading yourself out there, spreading yourself thin, being a people pleaser, giving away your talents and skills because you don't want to put a price on them, or you're coming from a place of lack where you just will take whatever people are offering. You raise the bar on patience as well. You understand that the healing process is not an overnight thing, that changing your life means that you have to be more fearless than and patient than someone who's rushing and commanding. Group number 3, that's your general energy is of someone who's had to learn how to be patient even with themselves, because you may not have had the best examples growing up of how you wanted to navigate this world and be in this world. But now your inner life, it raises the bar. I mean, there's people who you were raised with or raised around who were like, how did you turn out this way? I mean, we all went to the same school. We all kind of like walked around the same neighborhood, but you kind of just cultivated this inner garden, which is your inner life. You see from a perspective that many people are like, wow, I never thought of it that way. There's something about you, group number 3, that you transform people without them even really knowing it at the time. You're a person who enters people's lives, and when you exit or when they kind of go away, they realize that was a significant relationship to me. That person just taught me a lot about life. I mean, you could really literally, you could meet people at a workplace and they'll be like, oh, yeah, really love group number 3. They were just like salt of the earth. They were great. And then later they're like, but you notice how group number 3 used to always just pique our interest more? Or somebody will say to you, you notice how group number 3 really got us to organize ourselves like into a union? You notice how group number 3 got me to like parent better, like be more patient with my child? There's things that you do that just kind of spark illumination. Group number 3. It helps people see a better version of themselves or a better version of their life experience, like you're giving it to them. You're that kind of person who has had to face some real, maybe darker aspects of yourself, shadowy aspects of yourself, and you had to like kind of realize, oh, I was being that way because I was wearing an armor to protect myself. I was not showing up as the most compassionate person because I had my own wounds. Like there was some kind of deep self-realization you had, group number 3, and it kind of just shifted everything that was important to you. Spirit's showing me that your past version of yourself is not one that you really, um, I think you accept that past version of yourself, but it's not one that you really like to bring up a lot. Because the past version of yourself, I don't think you liked that version very much, group number 3. That could have been a version that was jealous, insecure, even in relationships, was always wondering if your partner was cheating, or, like there was a certain version of yourself, group number 3, that I think you just had to outgrow, Spirit said. and really get radically honest with yourself about who you were. People in group number 3, you have some kind of past that you're not proud of, but you raised the bar on transformation. You really did. Yeah, you decided somewhere in your life you were going to play chess and not checkers. You were going to come up with a strategy for your life. You saw in too many ways that if I just kind of flow in this life and don't do anything, this life will just direct me any old place. And group number 3, you decided, no, what if I planned my life? What if I said by this year, the end of this year, I'm going to do this? What if I say by 5 years from now, I'm going to have this, or I'm going to do this? And you started making little goals for yourself. This is really deep because Spirit is reminding me of an old memory of mine. When I was in high school, my family, they signed me up for a whole summer away for high school students. And we stayed in dorms at this particular university, and we took college level classes. And back then I wasn't very confident. I was smart, but I didn't really know it. And so a lot of these kids were really academically on top of things, but we all kind of came from the same background, like not so economically privileged. So when I was in this group, I met this girl. She was from Chicago, and her family was really poor. Really. Like she had a lot of sisters and brothers. She was probably the oldest. But oh my God, you all, like because we got to the beginning of the program, you had to take like these placement tests so they can figure out what level of course you could be in. She aced everything. I think the year that she was taking the SAT, you guys, and this is years ago, she was like the top person in the United States. Like she got the highest score. And there was something about her that was very super humble, but she was so incredibly smart. We were all just like, I think they ended up, she was like the only person that actually took like actual classes with the college students. We were kind of like, we had courses that, were kind of tailored for us. She actually went and sat with actual college students in science courses. So I think Spirit is bringing up this memory of her because I remember sitting with her one day, and I was like, so how do you get to where you are? Because I was a curious kid. I was like, wait, dude, like how are you doing what you doing? And she said, one thing that I always do is I write a letter to myself with my goals in it. And she goes, then I seal it up. And when at the, some time frame that she had, she would open up the letters to see if she accomplished her goals. And I remember her telling me this process. And I was like, that is really deep. Like even as a high school student, this person was giving herself goals and making sure that she stayed on top of her life. And there's something about that I don't think Spirit is bringing to my mind as a mistake. Group number 3, like you are like that. I think there has always been a better version of yourself, group number 3, that was there. And you just raised the bar again. Like group number 1, you raised the bar on yourself. You really were like, this isn't all that I can achieve. I think many of you in this group number 3, you started to notice like whenever you were working for people or in companies, you would meet the head honcho. You would always meet the owner or the CEO or the founder. You were always in their realm. Even if you were taking notes at a meeting, you were always at that meeting. And there was something there that was telling you, no, energetically, this is where you match. This is where you align. And so, group number 3, I think you had to just look past what your environment was telling you can do, and you had to like really align with the energy of success. Yeah. You raised the bar in your profession, group number 3. Whatever you're doing, you raised the bar. It was like you went 0 to 100 once you started to believe in yourself, once you started to recognize, oh, this isn't the template, this isn't the path, this is the path. But I think there had to be like a deep, deep believing in yourself. Yeah. You raise the bar on even how you mentor people, how you make money. It's that work again, like the seeds that you plant, the way that you plant seeds, the way that you build networks. I don't think for many of you in group number 3, this was something that someone had to tell you to do. You had to go out and search it. You had to go out and observe, what are other people doing in these leadership positions? And you had to realize that you had to find your own mentor. You had to become that mentor for some people. So there's something there where you raise the bar, group number 3, just around how success is achieved. You had a lot of trial and error, but mostly success. And people are looking at you as a true life mentor. Like, thank you for doing this. Thank you for busting me away from a limiting, maybe social environment to help me understand I could really do whatever I wanted to do. There's something there, group number 3, about how you inspire those who are either younger or less experienced than you to go for it, literally to go for it. So, group number 3, if you resonate with any or all of this channel message, could you please give me a thumbs up? It's a really cool way to help me grow this brand new channel. If you want to subscribe, this is your invitation to do so, and click that bell so you get notified when I upload new channel messages. And group number 3, thank you for just kind of also not only doing this for yourself, but spreading the love and doing it for others. I really appreciate that. Okay, my honeys, take care. Hello, group number 4. This is Kamara, the Black Dove Oracle, and this is your channeled message, how you raise the bar. Well, these have been very interesting. It's funny because I think when Spirit presented this as the topic for this channeled message, I really thought it was going to be one of those, pump you up, about other people. But it's really been such an internal channeled message for most groups. But we'll see. Group number 4, you kind of always surprise. But sometimes not. Group number 4, how do you raise the bar? Well, I'm going to tell you, you dispel a lot of false beliefs. You, Spirit said, the bottom of the deck, metamorphosis, you raise the bar because you have the power and the strength to surrender to change, but you also challenge false beliefs. You challenge a false belief about yourself, group number 4, and you challenge false beliefs in general about the way things need to be. Some of you come from a very traditional family. Some of you come from a very traditional community. One where maybe people of a certain gender had to do certain kinds of things. And what I'm seeing here, group number 4, is that you rose the bar on the expectations that were placed upon you. You rose the bar to say, listen, I actually can be very responsible for my own self. I can do things my own damn self. I don't need to wait for anyone to do something. I'm about to do it. Group number 4, even if you weren't raised in a strictly traditional kind of community or family, I think your family expectations of you just never met the bar you wanted to reach. You were like, actually, I can do this myself. For some of you, it was like going off to school by yourself across the country or out of the country for some of you. For others of you, it was like, no, I can pursue um, this kind of education or knowledge on my own. For some of you, this was about living in your truth, taking responsibility for yourself. I keep seeing that as a theme. Like maybe your family was like, no, not unless you're, one of those things, not unless your brother's going with you or your dad's going with you or your uncle's going with you. You're like, wait, what? I could do this on my own. Not unless you're going to stay with family when you go there. You're like, no. There was something here inside of you that eternally wanted to be independent. Yeah, you rose the bar because you just evolutionized in a particular way that your family or community didn't expect. Some of you are in sciences, like you're doing something in the sciences. For others of you, it was just an opportunity for you to go within and really change at a core DNA level. Like you really, if you picture the caterpillar, it was like you really had to go in and liquefy your whole existence, like transform yourself at that level because you knew you were not raised or conditioned to be independent. That was something you were going to have to cultivate on your own. And you may have even had, for some of you, you had to raise the bar and really understand that you were going to have to create this path all by yourself. Like there was not going to be anyone maybe from your community or your family that was going to be like, oh, okay, well, this is how you be independent. It was like you were going to have to learn on your own. Some of you had to go and live on your own, and maybe that horrified your family, like living by yourself. Oh my God, you know? Yeah, but you had to exercise a certain judgment. You raise the bar on how people even thought of you making decisions for yourself. This is pretty deep, but you raise the bar on even how you lived in mystery. Like, and Spirit is explaining this of like, you raise the bar on not having to know everything in order to do something. Meaning, if you had to travel somewhere and you never been to that city, that country, you were just gonna go and see how it went. Did you like prepare a little bit? Yeah, but you didn't have to know day by day what was going to be taking place. Like there was something you realized, group number 4, about staying in some safety zone that was going to keep you a little limited. And so you raised the bar on even what you could experience, what you understood about yourself. Many of you had to raise the bar even on your use of logic. Because for some of you, you felt like it kept you a little too rigid and you wanted to even expand. Like I said, some of you might be in the sciences. You did something to bring that to another level. Maybe some of you introduced your intuition into some theories. Maybe you didn't even mind speaking that way, like I use my intuition, I use my gut feelings. Many of you, I think you showed up as you are to some of these environments, and people didn't expect that. What am I seeing? Spirit showing me that someone showed up and maybe I don't know, this is just a very outward external example, but Spirit showing me that you just kind of showed up by, like, if everybody in the science lab wore like a white coat and suits or, very professional clothing, you kind of like what we would call that. You showed up in whatever you usually wear. You may have even showed up, Spirit is saying, in more traditional clothing. I don't know. There's something there where you just you come as you are, group number 4. And that is a way in which you really raise the bar. Like, you're like, I'm not conforming to anything. I'm not changing anything about myself unless I want to change that. You raise the bar too on your expectations of being paid equally. You're not coming in trying to do maybe even more of the work and get paid less. You're like, oh, heck no. I think some of you in group number 4 have confronted employers on pay inequities, and you've even left. You didn't care how much you had going on there. You might have found a different job that was going to respect you and pay you what you were worth. That's for somebody very specific. You might have left something that most people would have been like, what? Why? And you were like, no, if I'm not getting paid, like, you might have found out somebody was getting paid more than you and they had less qualifications. You were like, the F? No way. Yeah. Also, like, you're a person, group number 4, who raises the bars on how you need to be treated in these workplaces. Like, you may have had someone even, like, and I'm really sorry for this, but I think this was not something that was out of your, like, you were able to put control over it, but someone kind of likes calling you honey, like, really, using all kinds of, like, sexist terms to, you know, kind of put you in some place, and you're like, I'm not your honey. You might want to call your wife that. That's not me. I'm your colleague. Like, you brought a certain kind of, if you're in group number 4, you did bring some kind of sense of feminism to the workplace that maybe wasn't there before. That's interesting. Yeah, and you had to, like, you had to really come in showing some strength, because I don't think wherever you were, it was the norm for women to, I'm really getting people in group number 4 in the feminine body, but I mean, even take a word resonates. If you're part of a different identity, wherever you were working, people weren't respected in that identity, and you had to be like, not with me. You are going to respect me, or I'm going to leave. For some of you, you had a really, your cutoff game got real serious. Some of you in group number 4, you had to understand that your wish fulfillment was going to be about being able to be your whole person and also be very respected. And that flowed from even the workplace into your family. Like, you had to, like, go in and do some teaching. Like, no, we're not, when it comes to me, we're not doing this anymore. we're not assuming that, I need this and that you have power over me and this. It happened so quickly. I don't know if your family, like, saw it coming, but you were like, no, this is the way I love myself. And maybe for many of you in group number 4, your family members, especially if you're on the feminine, other feminines in your family were like, wow, look how group number 4 just called that in. Look how group number 4 takes no BS. That could have gone both ways. Like, there's some feminines who were really aligned with what you were doing, and there were others who were like wanting to stick with whatever the family pattern was. So, last few cards. In what way have you raised the bar, group number 4? You raised the bar because you helped others to understand there are always more options. Nothing is written in stone. You do not need to stay in situations that are harmful to you. And it's okay to be the fool. It's okay to go into new experiences and not know how it's going to turn out. There may be something good for you in a new experience. There may be something not so good. You can always choose your path and how you want to walk it. There's something about you, group number 4, you raise the bar on liberation. Like literally, you were like, why confine yourself to these like paradigms when you could literally be in 9 of Pentacles? Like you're showing people, I make my own money, I buy my own things, and I'm loving life. I dress myself, I travel by myself. Like there is something liberating about you that really has raised the bar on existence for other. I keep hearing feminines in your family, feminines in your community. They're like, oh, group number 4 just does what they want to do. And you're like, yes, I do. And I'm not impoverished. I'm not single, because some of you aren't. Some of y'all got a nice looking partner. But even if you don't, y'all date. Like you're just living your life. And I think you came from a place where it was very limited on the perception was limited on what you could do, and you're just kind of like, that's not really my experience. I'm creating my experience. So group number 4, let me know if that resonated with you. You can put a coin in the or a dollar bill in the comments, because I really do think that you're just like, no, I'm just going to live my life. I don't understand these rules because that's not making me happy. So if you like the way that I channel messages, please consider subscribing. Click that bell. You'll get notified when I upload new channel messages. Group number 4, if this is where we part, please know that you're a badass, and we appreciate you for just kind of, unlimiting the limited. Okay? All right, my honeys, this is where I leave you. I hope to see you in other readings. Take care.